Okay, and we're back. Let's go here. Let's do the same technique because that seems to be working pretty well. Nope. So what do we have here? We have a B. We have an F sharp. We have this A and this B thing again. So let's keep track of both of them for now. We already have a B. And we have this D sharp. Okay, what does that give us? If we move this A up an octave, look at that. We have a nice little triad there. So what do we have? B, D sharp, F sharp. So we have a B major triad and an A with a seventh on it. And we're in the key of E minor. So B7, that's just a good old 5-7 chord. Nothing weird about that at all, actually. It is major when it should be minor in E minor, but, you know, that major third in the 5 chord, totally normal. So it's out of key, but it's so predictably out of key. Nothing funny there at all. All right. Now, does that explain this next chord? Here we have an E. Sorry, here we have a G, E, B, or G, B, and B. Probably not. Let's look at that as its own chord. See if we can make some sense of it. G, E, G, B, and B. Okay. Oh, what do we see there? If I drop this E down, look at that. E, G, B. Good old 1. Right? 5-7 to 1. We certainly do like that, don't we? So that's great. Okay, let's continue on. Okay, here we have an A, an E, an F sharp, and a C. And a B. Ugh. This is like the biggest cluster of a chord. Okay, so clearly we have a whole bunch of non-chord here. And if we're going to continue on, we might have 3 different chords here. I'm going to go with that for now. So let's just look at this beat. Okay, what do we think we have here? Well, if I move this F sharp down, then I've got F sharp, A, C, E. What's that B doing? That B could be a suspension down to A. So let's try leaving that off. Since that's the only place we have it. So that could make some good sense. So if this was our chord, F sharp to A is a minor third. A to C is a minor third. That doesn't sound right. I guess it does. A to C is a minor third. C to E is a major third. So this gives us another diminished chord. Half diminished. So let's do the same thing we did over here. So if this was an F sharp diminished chord, if F sharp is our root, then in the key of E, that's 2. That's actually in key. So we could call this 2 half diminished. I know I'm not using the symbol for half diminished here. I should have a strike through it, but I don't have one of those on my keyboard. 2 half diminished 7, which is actually in key. So there's really nothing strange about that, other than we don't often follow a 1 with a 2, but it doesn't need to be a leading tone of something else because this is actually all in key. So let's put that there. I suspect it might be still a leading tone of something else, but let's see. Let's look here. So I'm going to convert all of this to a whole note or a half note. And then let's look at what's happening here. So here we have a G, another F sharp, a B, and another G. So could this be explained in here? This note can be, this note can't be, and this note can't be either. So let's try moving this F sharp up an octave. Now we're missing a D, but otherwise we have G, B, F sharp. It's a major 7th chord if we had a D natural in there. So this could be a G major 7th chord. We could just call it a G major for the moment. Where is the F sharp? Oh, it's right there. So let's do that. Let's call that a G major 7. That's going to be a 3, 3, 7. We don't need to notate that it's a major 7 because 3, 7, nothing out of key means that it's major 7 because that's what happens on 3. That actually lets us jump backwards a little bit and say now this leading tone diminished 7th, now this diminished 7th chord, this 2, 7, could actually very well be a leading tone diminished 7th chord, F sharp up to G, right? So since I think it's functioning that way, I am going to call it that. Okay, so we're going to call this leading tone diminished 7 of three. And then we get 3 next. And that makes good sense. Okay, almost done. What do we have next? Let's go back to this technique. This is working well. We have here a B. We have a D sharp. And this G is sustaining over, but then landing down on that F sharp. So I think that F sharp is probably where we are. That gives us a big old B major. And what is that? That is our trusty 5, which is really what we want. Okay. That's our 5 chord. And then that's going to tell us right here, we're probably going to get a 1 here. E, E, B, G. So we don't even need to mess around with that one. 1. Cool. We did it. So let's see what we have. 1, 5, leading tone, diminished 7 to 4, pushing up to 4, switching over to minor 4, getting us to a 5, 7, down to a 1. Leading tone, diminished 7 to 3, pushing us up to 3, dropping us off at 5, dropping us back down to 1. Let's hear this. Whoa. I should mute this. How can I do that? I'm just going to delete it and then I'll paste it back in. Okay. Okay, then we go kind of a different direction here, but let's stop here for now. Okay, so that's how this descending thing works. Now remember, you can harmonize this a whole bunch of different ways. I want to look at actually a couple small little handful of pop songs that you might be more familiar with that use the same idea, and we'll look at how they analyze it, or how they harmonize it, I should say.